Let's go to Blackwater. So you read all over the place, the whole concept of, private military contractors. You hear different names being thrown out by a bunch of different people, right? And you're the founder of it in America, and you've told the story of really back in the days. This is nothing new. We've always had this before. When you get out, why do you choose to go become a private military contractor?
The SEAL teams had used private facilities since the 70s. Mm-hmm. A shooting instructor that was a really good competitive shooter would build a small facility almost like a dojo, mm-hmm. and teams would go there. But no one had done it on an industrial scale. And the tempo that SEAL teams would train at and for a deployment, like mm-hmm. I remember the year before I deployed, I was gone 11 of 12 months before even deploying for another 6 months.
Are you married at the time or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's hard. And so building a significant training facility where the teams could do a lot of that stuff local and still get home in time for dinner was important to me. And I wanted to stay connected because I got out of the Navy way earlier than I wanted to. And I was in the unusual, I think a lot of guys had the idea. I'm not original on it. I was in the unusual position that I could fund it. Because funding a private training facility in the 1990s when a major base or mm-hmm. range facility was being closed mm-hmm. under BRAC, mm-hmm. Like once a week, that was very counterintuitive. It was unfinanceable. And every smart financial advisor said, that's a dumb idea, it'll never work. So started small, had to buy a lot of land. But
that's the 6,000 acres you bought?
Bought 3,100 acres to start. And it was cut over forestry land. I knew nothing about business, nothing about government contracting, nothing about land development, but just kind of figured it out. And you go back to the team that you know and trust. Right, I hired Ken Vieira, who was my training officer at SEAL Team 8. Al Clark was our first firearms instructor, and I hired Jim Dehart, who was the guy that actually managed the facility of SEAL Team 6 and built it out. So. There's just very talented, hard-driving guys that figured it out.
Now, if I would have worked with you and if I was at any of the units you were at, would I have known that you're eventually going to start something? Would I say, this guy's probably going to start something?
Nah, not necessarily. I kept my father's success very hidden.
So did the crew know that you were from a wealthy family? Or
No, I kept it really quiet the whole time, except after my father died, and then that was in March of '95. Like 3 weeks later, I had to be out in Fallon, Nevada, at the Naval Strike Warfare Center because we were doing combat search and rescue training and strike training. And we got done on a Friday, and the Navy aircraft wasn't coming to move us all back until the following Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And I asked my boss. I said, "Listen, I got all kinds of family issues." Because my dad just died 3 weeks earlier. Do you mind if I split and I'll see you guys back at the team on Tuesday? He goes, go. And my mom sent the plane. And a couple of the guys from my platoon drove me to the airport outside the base with a truck. And I said, guys, I got my bags. Just stay here. They're like, no, that's okay, Mr. P.
I got a private jet. I'm going to pick me up. Were you like, Mom, what are you doing, Mom? Why are you doing this?
No, it was the only way I was going to get back because it was out in the middle of nowhere.
Got it.
But so that between those two guys, it spilled the beans. But they asked me a question like, wait a minute, so you could like retire right now? It's like, well, I guess I could, but who would want to do that? So anyway, that was the only time the secret cracked.
Very interesting that you're from a very well-off family. You have money. You've traveled the world. You've seen a lot of different things. You probably stayed at the best hotels. You probably traveled private like you're talking about. You guys probably owned jets. You lived in beautiful homes, beautiful vacation homes. And you chose to go into military to make your life tougher and harder. Why would anybody in the right mind do that? Or was it the fact that they just raised you so well that it wasn't tied to money?
I always had a desire to go in the military. I was a military history geek because remember my family went to Normandy in 1980, mm-hmm. and I was the tour guide at 11. So Pegasus Bridge, and this is Sword Gold, Juneau, Utah, Omaha,
Did a movie inspire you? Typically, it's linked to a movie. Was it a movie or a
Well,
T-shirt?
the only movie about Normandy that was out then was The Longest Day, which was made in the 60s.
Right.
I probably did see that at that point, but no, I just read a lot of that kind of stuff.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.